Hey friends, Jeremy Tank here, branding designer, brand artist, and owner of Think Tank Creative. So I am having a workshop coming up. It is a brand positioning workshop, the Think Tank Brand Workshop. It is being held at InSpark Co-working in Lynnwood on September 12th. That's a Thursday, September 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. And you know, this whole thing is to come up with a brand positioning statement, but beyond that, it's to come up with some brand attributes for the 10 attendees. You know, if you're interested in that, you can, message me or click below or click around or find a link somewhere and sign up for that workshop. The thing is that brand attributes are sort of interesting because a lot of people don't think about the attributes. They just want to think of features and benefits of whatever they're selling, right? But the attributes are the super powerful words that pull the ideas out of your head and present them for somebody else. And I've got some examples behind me that I'm going to pull out here in just a second to show, what do attributes in context with audience and with intention mean? And what can we do with those? Because, I tell people your brand positioning statements, like your why statements, the emotional core of what you're selling and how you're selling it, why you're selling it is the reason people buy. They justify it through facts and features and blah, 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 rationality, right? But they buy it for emotional reasons. That's always the case. We've learned this through science at this point. So, I kind of want to, hey, can you see that? We'll put it up here a little bit. So this is a Brandscape that I did for this company that is a sailing company. And the thing is, their brand attributes, and this is again, the brand attributes are what we're coming up with in the workshop, but here's how this one plays out. The brand attributes are relatable, transporting, exciting, connecting, and dedicated. And this is kind of how we view it. This picture right here is supposed to represent the target audience for this particular brand, this business. And it's all about this bright colors and the connection and the activity and the energy. And see, I want to compare that with the other same company, same attributes, slightly different feel, right? And that's kind of what we do with branding, is we kind of give a couple different options. This, by the way, is like the 4th or 5th step in my process. We go through a lot of different ideas where my customers choose what direction they want to go before we ever get to this step. But these are the cool part, I think. Here we've got one for a woodshop co-op, and their brand attributes are way over here. Are craft, dream, create, apprentice, learn, honor, respect, connect, inspire, build, and grow. And here's our audience member here, the kind of guy that we think that we want to appeal to. And we actually discussed a few different audiences. We built avatars for 4 different sort of, who do we want to appeal to, how do we want to address them. And this was all about a place where people can go after work or on the weekends to do woodworking and build and be part of a community of builders, kind of like the create spaces, but specifically for woodworking, and to teach each other. Maybe there'd be even certification and courses going into that. And here, again, the same thing, this Brandscape, same words, same idea. This actually, we focused a little bit more on the school aspect. Again, the builder's trade school. And this guy who, he's got a tie on, he's the business guy, but he wants to work with his hands. And the thing is that we don't have enough space in our houses and our homes. We don't really have enough money to go out and buy all of these tools to craft a couch, a bookshelf that isn't made from IKEA. I mean, and that's sort of what this is about, is imagining, what would this business look like in all of its regards, in its top level form? If you were looking at this business from 30,000 feet and this brand from 30,000 feet, what would that look like? And that's what Brandscapes do. They give you a 30,000 foot kind of appearance for your brand as you're building stuff. I've got a couple more here I want to share with you, and we'll go ahead and look at this one. So this is for a medical clinic, an alternative medicine, integrative medicine clinic in Seattle. And this was definitely all about building something. Let's see, there we go. Building something for a woman in her late 20s, early 30s, to be more empowered and positive with herself, to get in touch with herself, to really kind of get treatments that are good for her health and her life, and transforming a mindset and the stories that she tells herself to be something better. And here's the same thing, but it's just a slightly different take, right? This feels a little bit more spa-like. This feels a little bit more subdued, not as punchy. And that's cool. It's great to have sort of these different ideas. Where is she? There she is. These different ideas of how to approach things. And I love to give at least a couple of these, like I said, when we get to this step, so that my private clients can actually choose the direction. And that's the point of brand attributes. That's the point of brand positioning, is figuring out if you're going to take the time and build a company, then isn't it good to figure out what that company looks like for the future? Isn't it good to figure out what you're going to build towards, so that we can have something like this and start building towards it, right? If you can see a big vision of what that is, then it's so much easier to build towards than every day just making little tactical moves. And that's part of what I'm helping with all this branding stuff, is making these tactical moves. And I think everybody really should have things like these brandscapes, because without this, you're going to make decisions that are not the best decisions day in and day out. That's just the case. You're going to make the best decision for right now, because that's the way that our brains work. You tend to forget certain pieces when you're making the choice, unless you can bring it all together and compare it. And that's part of, like I said, this is like the 4th or 5th step in my process. The first step is figuring out the brand attributes and the brand positioning and the customer avatars. And the 2nd and 3rd and 4th step is research. And then we get to the point where we do mood boards, which starts to bring together textures and ideas, and empathy boards, which shows me, the intended customer's life. We actually start to look at influences in their life, so that we can reverse engineer what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're feeling from all the world around them, and figure out what would appeal to them in the genre of what we're doing. What we're looking at right here is a really cool brandscape for a tea shop, a tea garden tea shop, that they really wanted it to kind of have that Victorian feel, a little bit old school, but still be very modern and still be able to do different things. We ended up writing a whole background story of how this place came to be, because the name of the place is the Kraken's Cup, and they're this delightful little tea garden. Let's see, what are our brand attributes over here? Here we go. Charm, wonder, adventure, experience, atmosphere. That's what they're all about. They're creating an atmosphere. She said she really wanted to create sort of a Disney-esque kind of atmosphere. The minute you walk in there, you are just absorbed by all of it. So this was super fun to work on with her. Here's another one. Again, this is the Kraken's Cup. There we go. Here's our customer way over here. And this is just a completely different take on it, right? They're both completely viable. It just depends on who, which direction the business owner wants to go. If they want to go with more of the tea service sort of thing versus the experiential place that they walk in, they both can serve tea, they both can have nice dark bookcases, and they both can have something to do with the Kraken going on in it. And it's just, that's the neat thing, this is sort of like, I say this in the best of intention, this is sort of like Uber or Lyft. Time's up. This is sort of like Uber or Lyft, right? It's two different ways of doing things. They are not the same. And that's what I like to present here, is by the time we get through the exercises and the workshops and the research and all the alignment stuff, it comes down to, here's a couple different ways that you can approach whatever it is you're doing. And it's really up to you, and I'm not going to say that either one of these is wrong. It is completely viable, and it's fun, and that's sort of the power of getting to this stage and working through it all, because the next step is actually building a business out of it. If you're interested in this stuff, please give me a call please give me an email, jeremy@thinktankcreative.studio. I've got that workshop running on September 12th. If you're interested in that, message me and we'll figure it out. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.